have concluded all of our speakers today, all of the authors that have signed up to share their book, share their journey. And I want to thank everyone for staying, participating, networking, meeting fellow readers, fellow writers, fellow people in the community. I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about you in this in the yWrite family that has been formed here. We want to kind of network and share each other's successes and even our sorrows if we have them. So before I end this, after it ends, I do have one poem I'm going to read. So, and it's something that I need to get people's opinions on, but it's something that if the audience wants to hear it, they're going to have to come see me live somewhere to see it because it will not be on a recorded device. So for those watching at home and watching this Out and About with the Angela Grout episode to find out what an author showcase is and what book fairs are, I mean, a lot of you have been to book fairs when you were kids, at the schools. Scholastic has book fairs. You go around to different tables and you find books to read. But author showcase is when you get to meet the authors behind those stories. And that is what we're doing. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Out and About with Angela Grout, and we'll see you next time. Hi. All this multitasking. Okay, let's see. So like I said, I wrote this poem, and I'm going to share with you as writers, this was something, an incident happened a couple weeks ago, and I got in my car after this incident occurred, and I dictated this poem into my phone from driving down Route 57 to Tower Square in Springfield. Then when I got into Tower Square in Springfield, I sat in the car and I edited it very quickly. And I was hosting at Tower Square. There's a place called The Intersection where I hosted an open mic, and I'm doing a few other speakeasies there, so you can follow me on Facebook to find out and hopefully participate. So at the speakeasy, I read this poem there. And afterwards, someone said, "You need to record that." And I said, okay. So because I have the opportunity to record it right now, we're going to record it. And then afterwards, I want to, maybe see how you guys feel about it, too. So. It's my Sharpay. Does that age me saying Sharpay? High School Musical reference for those of you who don't know. Okay. This poem is called Unwelcomed. Can you remember a time in your life when you felt unwelcomed, unaccepted, misunderstood? When someone makes you feel unwelcomed or unwanted or unaccepted, it hurts. There is a fine line for judgment when another expresses their opinion, which differs from your own. Being respectful for another's opinion sometimes means being silent, but silently you hurt. Expressing our voice can be an art when singing a song, but when sharing prose or an opinion, some say that's not art. When I was in high school, I was told that cheerleading was not a sport. I was a cheerleader. I was told dancing wasn't a sport. I was a dancer. Both can be very competitive. Both require extreme physical conditioning. But yet, what is it considered? Entertainment? Isn't football and hockey and baseball and tennis and golf entertainment? But those are considered sports. Recently, I was told that books are not art. Yet jewelry is art. Framed poetry is art. Paint splattered on canvas is art. Photographs are art. When I asked what makes something art, it was described as something that is handmade, something made by hand by an artisan. The definition of an artisan is a skilled craft worker who creates functional and decorative items by hand, often using traditional techniques, and the objects that are created, usually entirely by hand, have skill base. They require high expertise and experience in a specific trade. There's quality and uniqueness in this handmade item. Items are generally high quality, unique, and produced in limited quantities. When I was told that books aren't art, I had to digest that books aren't considered homemade. The art on the cover of a book is not homemade, so it's not art. All the time and energy and passion and studying and research to create a book is not art. So what is a book? Entertainment? I mean, earrings are an accessory. Fashionable artisan t-shirts are clothing. Bookmarks cut from paper and stenciled with a poem or an aspiring word is paper. Yet all of those things are considered art. Are children art? I mean, we make them from scratch. Is dinner art? It's homemade. Using a weaving loom to create a blanket is considered artistic. But scratching pen on a page is not art when in word form, according to this unnamed source who informed me of that, and that made me feel unwelcomed, unaccepted, misunderstood, and unwanted. So cheerleading is an activity, dancing is an art, but writing is not art. Who's making these rules? What's your opinion? Look around you. Do you see art? That framed photograph created by AI, that's art. The concept to create the framed photograph that's created by AI is artistic. Yet as an author and a writer and a creative storyteller and an inspired scribe, I am insulted. My books are my babies, and they are homemade by my heart and my hands and my passionate desire to share a story. If I created dance to express that story, then maybe I would be considered an artist. For now, I'm going to scribble one letter in cursive, just as the nuns taught me to. What the F? Thank you.
Yes.
We were told that artists in the Agawam community can display their art if they're an artist.
You're an artist.
So I was invited to display my books. And when they saw my books, they said, the books can't be here. And the woman who invited me to put my books in this artesian place said, no, books are art. And they said, books are not art.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, well, what's art? Art's created by hand. I said, I didn't use my toes. I could have, but I used my hands. And it was a very interesting morning. So not only were my books expelled from this art case, but all of the artists decided to remove their art from this art case. Because is it really art if it's earrings? That's an accessory. So, we really wanted to find what art is. And if art is something made by your hands, then dinner tonight is going to be really artistic. Again, thank you all for coming today, participating. If you haven't given your donation to the church, you can certainly give it to Reverend Pastor Dan. I say Reverend, I think it's all the same thing. Therapist, whatever. But all of these books have been so inspiring, and we have aspiring authors in the audience, which luckily I was privileged enough to read a little bit of, so I'm very excited and look forward to more of these. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.